So kind of also going towards time-saving decisions and also going down the training variables. When it comes to exercise selection, I've looked in a little bit into some of the research on multi-joint versus single joints, particularly whether like compound movements, like a bench press, for example, grow the secondary muscles involved. So like in this case, it would be like the triceps as much as an isolation exercise. The point being, if you can grow your chest, your front delts, and your triceps all sufficiently with a bench press, then you don't have to do extra sets of isolation exercises. You can cut those out and cut down a lot of time on your out of your training. So I'm curious what you think in general with that, and then also like from a layperson's perspective, because I at least expect, I guess I'll throw out my assumption that you might say like there are particular heads of certain muscles that might not be trained sufficiently in multi-joint movements, like the long head of the triceps. You might need some overhead, like an overhead exercise to hit that. So in general, I guess what you think, but then also like the stuff like that, training those like biarticular muscles really matter that much from like a layperson perspective that's not really in for optimization or anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. Like, again, depends on the context. So I recently put out a free minimum dose training protocol for hypertrophy, a 2-day one. You can find it at minimumdosetraining.com. It's totally free. Like, there's no like sales pitch, no newsletter, no nothing. It's just a sheet. And that was made for those who are in the more like optimization, maximization sort of side of things, but want to train with a minimum effective dose. For those people, I do think that, hey, if you're a bodybuilder or like a muscle nerd and you are, training with a minimum effective training dose, it may make sense to do the things that you just mentioned, like do some overhead tricep extensions and maybe some form of a leg extension, or something to fully target your quads. But for the average person, if you're pressed for time, opting for compound movements, and if you have access to a gym, machine-based, non-plate loaded compound exercises is your best bet. Like, why would you spend a ton of time doing tricep pushdowns and bicep curls when you could be doing, a machine row, a chest press, or like a machine shoulder press, where you can literally just sit, select the weight that you want, and still get a solid stimulus for your front delts and triceps. Again, the context there is average person who wants to be relatively jacked, relatively strong, and is pressed for time. Could they be gaining a bit more if they did some isolated tricep work? Probably yes. Do I think it makes a lot of sense for them to prioritize that and potentially miss out on, chest and front delt work by forcing the overhead extensions? No. But then that's where your previous question comes in handy. So like you could do supersets or something along those lines.